Hello, my name is Mike Kearsley, and today we're going to take a look at an application called CATIA V5. It's a 3D solid modeling application. It's made by the Dassault Corporation, sold in the United States through IBM and resellers. Anyway, what we're going to show you here is an introduction to the software and some of the power of the software and what it can do. It's a 3D solid modeling software package, and what it does is it creates three different kinds of part files. It creates detail parts, for example, this armrest of the chair. It creates assembly files called .cap products, and it creates drawings. It can do many more things than this, but these are the basic things that CATIA V5 will do for you. The drawing is a cat drawing, and the parts are cat parts. Again, cat products for assemblies. Let's first take a look at, hang on, I'm being interrupted here by Lucique. And hang on just a second here, I'll find out what she needs, and then we'll continue on with this demonstration.
Could you make sure I get up early? I need to know if I need to go work or not.
I can do that.
Work if I don't have to.
Okay, you're recording on this video. See, it's going on. And this is going to be streamed all over the world here. Anyway, we've now...
Which gets famous.
So, yeah, I've got to make sure it's snowing outside, incidentally, folks. So, oh, yes. And so, anyway, let's continue on. Now, with that aside, so, again, what we've got is we've got three different types of CATIA files that it creates. So, probably the first and easiest is kind of understanding the part file. So we'll click in here and we'll double click on the bar and we'll go right to the part file. This is a pretty simple little detail part. It could be made out of wood. A good type of wood to use would be cedar, and I'll kind of show you how I made it. It's called the armrest. It's made out of 3/4 inch thick material, or it could be made out of 4/4 would be fine, or 5/4 even better. So anyway, the first part of making this part is that we created, under the part body, we created this pad. And how we created the pad was through the sketch function, which is this icon over here. And you basically build a sketch that resides in a 2D environment that will be used to drive a pad. And we can name this pad basic armrest, or that's the default name, pad.1. So anyway, we come in here and we sketch on a sketch plane, and we create these line elements and these points, and then we constrain them with dimensions and radiuses, and we define geometry to drive in a pad. Basically extrude that geometry. So I can double click on part file here and go back to the actual armrest. Then we go ahead and add features to the pad, like holes and draft angles and fillets and chamfers. We can cut grooves in it. There's all kinds of functions over here in these toolbars that will allow us to modify and add features to the parts once we've created the parts. I've kind of colored these parts with graphic properties so we can kind of see how we created some of these. It adds a little color to these edges, and that can be done with graphic properties. What I did is I right-clicked over here in the border area of CATIA, and it brings up all the possible toolbars that you can use in the part design area. And you can see I just brought up graphic properties. Now graphic properties has a check by it. It tells you that it's active, and I can just cancel it if I want it to go back into that hidden area. Again, right click, bring up toolbars, and you can see the ones that are currently open. That represents these toolbars along the bottom and these toolbars here. Good way to just kind of get familiar with this application is just start experimenting with these toolbars, bringing them up, and you can drag them out. You can also hit the shift key and you can move them horizontal, and you can see the name up here. That gives you some good clues as to what the toolbar will do for you. For example, this is pad, and under pad you can get a pad, a drafted filleted pad, and a multi-pad. And you can drag this down and you can delete, clear that. Here's how you make pockets, and also you can make pockets, and then you can make draft filleted pockets, multi pockets, for example. So you kind of get the idea of how to expand these functions with this little chevron and get the ability to create multiple kinds of pockets. This is shaft. Typically, it's something like a revolve. You would revolve a sketch around an axis, for example, to create a revolve type part. Typically, a part that would be made on a lathe, for example. Here's something that you can cut a groove in. Here's something that you can make a hole of. For example, this hole right here is made with that hole function, and I can click on it, and that hole is a 0.125 diameter pilot hole for a deck screw fastener, for example, and that hole can be very quickly made with the hole function. I'll cancel out of that. So that kind of gives you an idea of how part files, some of the information about part files. And the first thing you do is you create a sketch, and then you drive that sketch with a feature, in this case a pad, and you make a part. And then you add holes later to the part. Let's click out of that, and let's go back into now. I'll show you how you can go window, tile, horizontal. And incidentally, I've opened up 3 of the different part files associated with this chair assembly. Or excuse me, I've opened up 3 different files. One's the assembly file, one's a part file, one's a drawing file. There's many more part files associated with this. For example, these legs here, and these slats for the seat area and the back of the seat. There's also more parts in the back here, up in here, and typically I don't model fasteners. I'll just call them out on the material list of the drawing down in here, and then I'll have the fastener locations on the isometric view of the drawing. Anyway, let's go into the dot cap product, and I'll kind of show you how that works. So I'll click on it, double click on the title bar since it's active, and we'll full screen that assembly file. So what we've got here is that we've got an assembly, which is like I said, a .cat product. In the assembly file, we don't create geometry like we do in a part file. If you've got to create wireframe, or if you've got to create surfaces, if you've got to create part geometry, you have to do that in a catia .cat part file. The assembly file basically just links all of the different part files together, and it adds constraints, which are these constraints right in here, and I can expand this by hitting on the plus, and it locates the detailed parts in an assembly environment, and from that you can use that .cat product, that assembly file, to create drawings, or you could use it to give information to build it right off of a computer screen. This concludes this little video.